Adedayo, good to have you here on the show today. The fact that MTN brought some good will to the market, it impacted on the equity capitalization, and suddenly we got the news around some issues bringing in EFCC. Give us a sense of how the stockbroking community, analyst world, you folks there are reacting to this.
Well, it was quite surprising, although at this stage nothing should be surprising again in Nigeria. And it's connected to the high-handed nature of regulatory authorities in Nigeria, because SEC has issued a clarification on that matter. They issued a circular, if I remember, on Monday, and the company itself issued a circular to the effect on Monday as well, clarifying their position on issues. We all know that MTN's price listing it came at a discount, so there was a bit of illiquidity in the market, and that is really why you've seen the kind of trades you've seen for a while. In terms of the allegations of cost dealings, all these are in compliance with the rules of the market, and it's something SEC has talked about. If a deal happens outside the market, SEC still has to approve it anyway. So all those trades were approved by SEC. Right. So there's really no reason to clamp down on MTN and start wrong.
So that's the exact thought in the world of the capital market at this point in time for operators on your side, right? Over 700 million units of the shares actually was traded on Friday, rising from some 108 naira 90 kobo all the way up to 140 naira or thereabout. That's some kind of 28.6% gains. But on Friday, specifically, we actually saw a bit of a decline. With this news, I mean, what's the outlook for the market? Because MTN was positive and was responsible for the whole return of the market from 29,000 psychological mark to 30,000.
Okay. Actually, we've seen a bit of momentum from Dangote as well. In response to the news, it's the listing is just 2 weeks old, and we believe the price will continue to respond to
in spite of this issue,
demand and supply dynamics in the market.
In spite of this issue at hand.
In spite of this issue is not something material to the company in terms of affecting the maybe earnings trajectory of the company or the ability to continue their operations. Until it affects that materially, then you expect that investors will continue to trade in line with what we've seen in the past week. This is not strange. MTN, the market is aware MTN has all sorts of issues with regulatory authorities that are not really connected to the fundamental performance of the stock. Fundamentally, MTN is a sound stock to have, and despite all the regulatory issues, it's still a good thing to have for investors. So we believe this week what you see is you've seen a slowdown generally in demand, from what we saw in the first 2 days of listing. So there's a bit more balance in terms of people offering MTN for sale and those wanting to buy. So you see a better mix this week as well, and across the market you expect a bit of sell pressures after the gains we've seen in the past week. From what we saw in the past week, we saw that there were more gainers, comparatively better than the prior week. So this week you should see a bit more sell pressures in the market, and the gains we saw in MTN, where there was a rapid increase. This week you see a bit more stability in prices. We're down to around 140 naira from a high of 150 naira. Yeah. So you expect a bit more stability in MTN prices. So today, this week, you begin to see a truer picture of the market, because MTN listing has clouded it over the past week. But this week, once MTN's the gains you're seeing in MTN moderates, you continue to see if investor sentiment has actually improved or not. So you tend to see a better pattern this week.
One of the questions that people or investors are asking is, who actually gave this tip-off to the EFCC? Do you think the system or the politics just being heated up for MTN to be able to come to the market with an IPO eventually?
It's hard to say, but all these issues are actually noble, accelerate the process of the IPO, because all uncertainty attached to maybe issues with regulatory authorities, uncertainty, for instance, if you look at the $2 billion outstanding that the Attorney General's office is claiming, in terms of taxes on some importation of equipment and payments to suppliers. All these are uncertainty that would actually not accelerate the IPO of MTN. So if the market really wants MTN to list, if regulatory authorities actually want MTN to list, they need to create an enabling environment for the business to do the job and to sell down part of the stake until you see a bit more clarity from our discussions with management, until you see a bit more clarity around the fine with AG, the Attorney General's office, and all other regulatory issues. You might not get an IPO soon.
So what's the rating on MTN for this week as we close to? What's the rating on MTN?
MTN is still a good buy because relative to peers, if you compare with emerging market peers, frontier peers, MTN is still trading at a moderate discount. We've seen a very, very good increase over the past week, but it's still at a discount. But
so if you already hold, you should accumulate. Is that what you're saying?
If you're holding, most people are not. You wouldn't want to sell anyway because it's dividend payout ratio is 80%.
Right.
One of the highest you can get in the market. Earnings growth in terms of the trajectory.
No, well, those are the numbers that we actually
double
have
digits. So it's
you're really bullish on MTN. Thanks a great deal, Adedayo Bakari from Afro Invest. I appreciate your time.